Welcome. This is Out of Continues episode 202. This is a weekly podcast posted up every Monday on outofcontinues.com as an MP3, or it goes up a little bit before that on youtube.com/outofcontinues as a video. And we talk about video games and related topics. If you're new to this show, I am your host, Stafa, and I have a different guest host with me each week. This week, I have Eric.
Jazz hands.
Eric also does the Out of Capes podcast. He's my co-host with me on that show, in which we talk about like the Flash and superhero shows and such.
Yes.
So, anyways, the way how this episode is structured for today is we're going to have our main discussion, which is, do we need game designers? After that, we have some quick announcements, and then we're going to go over some news topics. So before we go on, I want to do a little disclaimer that all opinions expressed on this show are of our own and not of our employers, whether past, present, or future. Hire me.
You don't need to hire me. I have a job.
Hire me, please.
I tried to hire you.
So anyways, let's get on to our main topic, which is, do we need game designers? And this is pretty much like a news topic that I'm expanding to be a main discussion, which is about the Australian game studio, Half Brick Games, which some of you know as the makers of Jetpack Joyride, Fruit Ninja, all those other games that are like a spin-off of Jetpack Joyride with that dude with the 5 o'clock shadow and the ripped up business suit, like where he shoots zombies and other stuff. So anyways, like basically they had two game designers on their team, and they laid them off because they are now saying that the position of a game designer is redundant. Like, it's not needed to have a game designer anymore in the industry. And instead of having a dedicated or a team of dedicated game designers, people that are dedicated to be working on game design, they are now saying it's better to just have the entire team work on the game design instead. So your artists, your programmers, everyone else, they're now working on the game design instead. So we're going to talk about that, Eric.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to say this right off the bat. My opinion is probably going to be biased because of the fact that, I'm a game designer. That's what I do. That's what I study to do. That's what I try. My goal is to do that professionally. So my opinion is going to be a little biased. But I think this is a redonkulous choice. It is ridiculousness to the nth degree. Basically, I mean, like, you need someone who, or at least, you need people on the team, or at least one person, preferably a team of people, but at least one person who, that's their craft, to make sure the game is balanced, make sure the game is fun, and who understands what, these concepts and why a game is fun.
Yes.
What do you think, Eric?
I mean, I agree with you actually, because I think they really do need a game designer, because they need someone to design the games. You can't just have someone who's just, you can't just have all the art and all the coding and just kind of make a game. It's not going to look like a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like, you can have people on the other teams that have good ideas. There's, I completely agree with that. The fact that, just about anyone on this team can have some good idea. But to understand what makes like the entirety of the game fun or balanced and all that, you need somebody who studies that. Like, you know, I'm go bring up an interview that I had a few weeks ago with Storm 8. I had the question, how come I'd want to have, why would I want to have, or why would I want to restrict the content to the players for a specific game? It was pretty much like a match 3, Candy Crush style game that had like 13,000 levels. And I was asked, why would I want to restrict the content if there are like 13,000 levels? The players are never going to get through all that. And, my initial thought, like, I didn't even think that question was going to come up, but my initial thought is, well, it's a free-to-play game. Of course you'd want to have the content restricted. Duh. But, that's not a good enough answer. That doesn't explain why you'd want the content to be restricted. So I asked my mentor, what would be a good answer to that? Why would I want to restrict the content? And she explained it to me. She explained that, those type of games are designed to be like the most fun 5 minutes of your day. Yeah. That's why you'd want to restrict the content, because if you can keep playing all day, the game gets monotonous and boring. So you want to restrict it just to like make, those 5 minutes really fun every day, and so the player will continue playing it every day.
Also, kind of gives it that, I don't want to say that I might seem bad, but kind of give it the crack level where like they start having fun and you take it away from them. That way they want to play more.
Making it more addictive, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and see, that's why you want to have a game designer, so that like they understand those types of concepts. You have to understand why something is fun, why something is not fun, why something's good, why something's bad. You have game designers like specifically try to understand these things, and that's why I feel like it's really important to have a game designer. I'm not claiming to be an expert. That's why I have a mentor that I turn to for these questions and learn and try to understand more. So I really think that was it Half Brick Games, they got this all wrong, saying that the position is redundant, saying that, hey, everyone else can work on game design. But it's kind of weird that they would get rid of their game designers when their games, like, Jetpack Joyride and Fruit Ninja, are very well designed.
Yeah.
Those games are very well designed, and there's a reason why people play those games. Does the rest of their team understand why their games are well designed? That's the question I want to bring up to them.
Yeah.
You got any thoughts you want to share?
Not really.
Not really?
You said mostly what my thoughts are on it, too.
I mean, what else I got on this? Like, basically, I was, okay, another thing I want to add is that there was a group of students from the school I went to, IPY. They went to GDC, and we met with a Pixar animator, and one of those students, I'm not going to name any names, but one of those students was saying, we're all game designers.
It's sad that, because I know who you're talking about.
Now, I was there, and I was so flabbergasted. I didn't know what to say. That I just my mind wanted to explode and implode at the same time. So as a result, it didn't do anything at all.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just over there like, are you freaking kidding me? He was like, yeah, we're all game designers. This guy is more of an artist. All right. And, you know, I like I said before, people on different teams can have good game design ideas, but we're not all game designers.
Yes.
All game developers are game developers. Not all game developers are game designers.
Really,
like,
how it is like a game developer is between the two.
mm-hmm.
Like you have the art side, you have the code side, and designers kind of the both. And you want to have a combination of all three areas. And how I put it is, like you can't build a car, you have to have someone who designs the car. You can't just have people who are just engineers and just put the parts together like, look, we made a car. You have to have someone who designs the car beforehand, and then they put the stuff together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you started mentioning cars, and you know, like, if you look at other industries, they all have some type of under other industries that produce something. They have some type of a designer. You know, like,
or a group of people that are in charge of the group.
yeah,
Of like understanding what the public wants and then going forward and talking to the other people who actually make the vehicle.
yeah, like cars, shoes, clothing, furniture. There's furniture designers. You know, there's designers for all sorts of different products. And if you were to like say, oh, a designer is redundant in the car, you know, manufacturing industry, people would think you're crazy. You know, you gotta have somebody who understands, you know, this is why you want the cup holder here and not above your head. You know, you can't have Homer Simpson design the car. You gotta you can't have the Homer.
I remember that episode.
You know, you gotta have a professional car designer for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, so I totally disagree that the position is redundant. Now I've tried to look into other people's arguments as to, you know, seeing Half-Brick's side of, you know, why or, you know, are they right if you know, the position is redundant. And I think they misunderstand, those people who are like trying to argue for Half-Brick's decision misunderstand the point of game designer. Like one video I saw by the PBS's Game/Show, which is a pretty good series of you know, web shows that happens weekly. So the guy was he was questioning, you know, hey, should game studios have a dedicated game designer, you know, like your Miyamoto, your Cliff Bleszinski, your Kim Swifts, your Warren Spectors, you know, all them, your Ed Boons, you know, like your head person who is like in charge of the overarching idea, or should it be like a whole team effort? And you know, that was his argument, and not argument, but his question that he brought up. You know, what should it be? And I feel like he misunderstands like the point of game design. You don't need to have like one single game designer or one head. You can have like a whole team of game designers, but you gotta at least have the position somewhere in the team as a game, you know, some game designer, so that they understand, you know, all those concepts I mentioned earlier, you know, balance and game systems and your level design, puzzles, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't need to be just one person who covers the whole thing. It can be a whole team of game designers. I'm just saying there needs to be game design somewhere on the team.
Yeah.
Now there are other studios that are similar to Half Brick that don't really have dedicated game designers. Like from what I understand, Iron Galaxy, from what Dave Lang was explaining when he came over to our school, IUPUI, was that everybody there has to do something, or not. They do more than one thing. Like your game designers are also programmers, and your artists are also programmers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so there aren't really dedicated positions there. I believe Double Fine is also similar in that sense, where they don't really have game designers. They have like everybody working on different things. And Double Fine does have charm to their games, but I feel like a lot of their games also have issues with game design because of as a result of them not having dedicated game designers. Like for example, in Psychonauts,
Yeah.
have you played Psychonauts?
Yes.
The Meat Circus.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You remember how bad that level was?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really bad level. You got to have some game designers on the team to like point out.
Tell you this is a bad level.
Yeah, to point out what's a bad idea, what's a good idea, stuff like that.
In a way, they're kind of like they check to make sure you're sending out the best product you can.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, you gotta have play testers, your QA testers, and it is definitely a team effort to make sure the game is balanced and it's fun and all that. But as a game designer's job, they have to look at the results of the playtesting sessions and see, does this feature make sense in the game? Does it result to a fun experience, or is it just a frustrating mechanic?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Come on, you got to add something, man.
Fine. I mean, kind of think of how to phrase this. It really depends on the size of the company for me, how I feel. Because, I mean, there'll be small companies that don't have, like, a game designer, but they all do different positions to make up for the fact. And some might be, but if you have and there might be big companies that have lots of game designers, but don't have a lot of the other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it depends on the size of the company and what works best for them.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you look at, like, Jonathan Blow, he has his own studio. I mean, from what I understand, Braid, it was just him and an artist and a musician.
Yeah.
Kind of like Beware the Bully. And but now he's working on was it The Witness, and he has a small team. But Jonathan Blow, does both the game design and the coding.
Yeah.
That makes sense that with a smaller team. But when you got like a medium-sized team, or definitely larger teams, the larger the team, the more game designers you need. You got to have especially for larger games, you got to have people working on the game systems. You got to have people working on the content, like all the for example, if it's an MMO or an RPG or something, you got to have like quests and people that are dedicated to making the quests and such. If if you got a match 3 game that has 13,000 levels, you got to have game designers working on each of those puzzles. You know?
I mean, usually it's just the same level. They just change the background.
No, those are like Candy Crush. Like all those levels are unique.
Okay.
In fact, I want to see right now how many levels are in Candy Crush. Let's see. An update to the game in November. No, what? No, what the heck? This is not the answer. Okay, it has 19,000 levels. There we go. 19,000 levels in Candy Crush.
Yeah.
And I've gone through, I think, 40 levels or so, and all of them were unique.
I think I had 52. I got up to the point where you had to start paying for levels.
Well, usually if when you get to that point, it's like wait 72 hours and then it'll open up more levels or something like that.
Mine was like you had to invite friends to the game.
Gotta invite those friends, dude. Gotta get the candy.
No.
But yeah, so basically the quote that we have from Halfbrick, this change will empower everyone in our teams to contribute to design rather than concentrate design control in the hands of few. Great ideas can come from anywhere, and we want to create an environment that fosters this notion. And I totally agree that great ideas can come from anywhere. Our
But you
team,
need someone to wrangle in all those great ideas.
yeah, our teams are being empowered to contribute to design rather than the design being in its own silo. To add to this, we have a centralized design resource to guide the teams on achieving this goal. Halfbrick's focus remains on creating new mobile games while expanding on its core brands Fruit Ninja and Jetpack Joyride. So I wonder what's this centralized design resource? Like, who wrote this design resource? And you got to have somebody who updates your design resource, because game design, as I mentioned or as my mentor Michelle and I have mentioned on episode 200 2 weeks ago, game design's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you got to have somebody in charge of the overall like even if you don't want like a game designer in charge of the whole like game design or at least the whole game, you got to have some team lead who is like in charge of the vision of the game, because if you have like a bunch of different ideas everywhere, you're going to have Return of Etheria 1.
Yeah.
That was one issue with the game I worked on at IPY, Return of Etheria. There was no real centralized vision. It was like a bunch of different ideas from everyone, and everyone thought the whole game was their baby. So it was just a mess.
Yeah.
Return of Etheria War of Realms, the second game, the first meeting, like, we had the same mistake. Everyone was in the same room, like the entire team was in the same room throwing ideas, despite there being a specific game design team.
Yeah.
And I was like, Matt, the professor, I was like, Matt, look, this is an issue. And then after that, like from that point on, all game design talk was only with the game design team, and we did it in a completely separate room than everyone else.
I remember that because I would come see, and you guys were in a different room.
Yeah. So it was a mess that everyone had like conflicting ideas. Um, you know, you got to have like some type of centralized uh, vision to guide the game. I mean, like if you look at movies, you got a director. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what
You got a
movie?
director, you got a producer, you got writers,
Yeah,
got a whole bunch of other people who all come together to make the movie.
yeah. So like, can you name off one successful movie that does not have a director?
No,
I can't even think of any.
I
I don't
can't.
even know of any. I don't even know of any movies. Period. That doesn't have a director.
I think that's like one of the main things of a director. I mean, is to direct the actors,
Yeah,
direct the vision of what the movie is supposed to be.
yeah. So how come you know in game design, you know, in the game industry, it's like yeah, game design's redundant. No, it's I don't. I 100% disagree with that. I don't see. I mean, like I agree with Halfbrick saying that great ideas can come from anywhere. Yes, that can, but you got to have all those things I mentioned before, where
Thing.
centralized vision as well as someone who understands game design concepts.
I mean, I understand where they're coming from because where they think it's redundant is that, like, kind of what we talked about is that some companies have like a coder and a game designer doing the same job. There's the
Yeah.
same person, so they think it's redundant when you can have someone else, like everyone, be a game designer and their normal job of art or coding or whatever. But you actually do need the game designer to kind of wrangle in all the ideas.
hmm there's a podcast I used to listen to. I can't remember what it's called, but it was a game design specific podcast. And one of the guys on there is a programmer and a game designer. And he says sometimes it's really tough switching hats as far as working on the programming concepts as well as the game design concepts, because sometimes when he's trying to think of how to program uh, something specific, he's thinking of the game design concepts, which it's like, hey, this sounds like it would be fun concept, but it conflicts with how he can program it, and then he tries thinking of game design concepts, and then it, it conflicts with what types of thought processes he's trying to do to get the job done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, if you have like a dedicated programmer, their job is to figure out how do I get this done. How do I put this together? And if you have a dedicated game designer, their job is how does this result to a fun experience. Any final words on this? Wrapping this up?
No, I think I've said all I need to say.
All right. So let's move on. Hire me. Halfbrick Studios. You need a game designer. Fly me out to Australia.
Like, do you find some contractual work?
All right. So before we move on, Eric,
What?
you went to bed last night, right?
Yes.
Did you have a dream?
Yes.
Was the dream hosted by anything?
It was hosted by DreamHost.
Whoa, that sounds like that dream had unlimited storage, unlimited bandwidth, and a user-friendly interface. Did it?
Yeah.
And I also bet it was optimized to use content managers such as WordPress, which one out of every 7 websites on the internet uses WordPress. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Well, you should have because it was hosted by your dream.
Oh, God.
All that and just for all that and many more features just for $8.95 US a month. And if you use the promo code out of continues, it will waive away the setup fee and get your free domain registration. Now that does sound like a dream.
Yes, it does.
A dream host. Dreamhost.com.
Product placement.
Man, I'm so good at this. Oh man. Okay, so let's move on. And before we get into our news topics, just want to mention real quick that iTunes is a thing where you can leave a review for us, and it is one of the single most helpful things you could do for the show. If you leave a review, it helps place us on the Apple iTunes podcast charts if you leave a review. But if you, for some reason, cannot leave a review, whether you cannot get into your Apple iTunes account because you lost your password and it wants some credit card number that you don't have anymore and some other shenaniganry, or you already left.
The email I don't even know the password to.
Yep, or you already left a review. Another really helpful thing you could do is you can share or like our posts on Facebook, or retweet or favorite our tweets when we post about our new episode. It helps get us more exposure for the podcast, helps spread the word of the show, and when we have more listeners, especially those who write in and leave us feedback or ask us questions, it just makes the show more fun and gives me more incentive to keep doing the show. So we'd really appreciate any of the help. And if you leave an iTunes review and I don't notice it because I don't check often for the iTunes reviews, if you leave one and you want me to give you a shout out for it, go ahead and email me. Be like, hey, I left you an iTunes review. Give me a shout out on the show, and I'll be like, sure, I'll give you a shout out, homie, bro. So let's move on and go to news. Let's see if the screen sharing works this time. Screen share. Whoa, it's working this time. All right, so screen one, share. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Oh, I better switch it so that it doesn't show your face anymore. There we go. Say something.
Hello.
All right. So it's not showing your face anymore. Awesome. Yeah. All right. So anyways, it seems that the first news article, one of the voice actresses for Wolfenstein: The New Order has accidentally revealed that there's going to be a sequel to the game. So basically, she says, "I'm working." What was it? She was on an interview with the Polish media, saying that she's working on a second game. She says, "I'm working on a video game, first part of which I have already made. Now we're making a second one, which will take 2 more years. I played this game as a child. I was very happy when I got to the point where I could shoot Hitler." So she made it pretty clear as to which game she's talking about.
Yeah, because there's so many games where you shoot Hitler.
Yep. She mentioned, "Hey, I play this game." It's pretty clear. Wolfenstein, So, Wolfenstein: The New Order was a really awesome game. I really liked it. I've been playing some of the old Blood, the standalone expansion.
Yeah.
I couldn't really finish it. I think maybe 2/3 through it. It's just more shooting. Like there's not much story. It's just shooting. I got to the point where they're like Nazi zombies, and I'm like, oh no, not this
Call of
game
Duty.
too.
It's Call of Duty.
Yeah. So they got zombies, and this isn't the first time that there have been zombies in Wolfenstein. But I don't know. It's just
You
I
know what they
didn't
should
get
have done?
what's that?
They should have done Kung Fury, have karate chopping Hitler.
Ah, yeah. Well, the thing is, Hitler's dead.
But he can come back.
Sure.
Oh.
Like in the New Order and the Old Blood, it takes place after Wolfenstein 3D, and Hitler dies at the end of Wolfenstein 3D.
You never know. There's still rumors that Hitler's still alive today, or was alive after he supposedly killed himself. You never know.
Cyber Hitler.
Or he has like doubles that are genetically modified to look like him.
Oh, like Saddam Hussein.
Exactly.
All
Or the movie
right.
Swordfish.
But yeah,
Spoiler.
what's that?
Spoiler.
Oh, so I mean, like I'm looking forward to the New Order too. I liked the New Order. Wasn't really too into the standalone DLC or standalone expansion, mainly because it was just shooting and no story, and it was very repetitive.
Same old thing as the original game, just paid money to play more.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I'll look forward to this. Did you play Wolfenstein: The New Order?
Yes, I beat it.
You like it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool game. Move on.
Yes.
So, good friend of the show,
Very
best
good friend.
friend of the show. He's a huge fan. Uh,
Are you
Phil,
going to dinner with him tonight?
yep, we're gonna hang out. So Phil Spencer, those of you familiar with him, he is the lead of Xbox. Phil Spencer, he says that console wars are distasteful. He's talking about the people on the internet who argue over which console is better and bash the other consoles or other platforms. You got your PC Master Race fools. You got your like Nintendo fanboys, your Sony fanboys, your Xbox fanboys, and then you got the Ouya people. There's two of them.
Yep.
So yeah, he says that they're distasteful. He's like, I've said before, the one thing that I probably find a little distasteful in the discourse around games is the divisiveness that people try to build between platforms. It's become more about what piece of plastic I own than what games I'm playing. It becomes more about somebody else failing than the things I love succeeding. I don't think that's a good place for our industry. I know that's not everybody, and it's easy to find the pockets of the of what's that word vitriol, and I kind of think that is gaming, but I'm not going to embrace that. I'm going to actively push against that. And he says that people sometimes will make fun of me that I mention Sony or I mention Nintendo. It's not to
Okay.
placate
Yep.
anybody or make them think I'm some kind of good guy. My job isn't really to keep you from buying something else. My job is to make you proud of what we offer and give you an enjoyable experience with the product we have. That's 100% of what I'm focused on. And this is I've said this before, multiple times on the show. I like Phil Spencer. Like, he seems like a guy who genuinely likes video games. He loves the industry. He loves competition, strong competition. And I think he understands that for his platform to be good, he needs the other platforms to be good as well so he could compete with them.
Yes.
Strong competition makes you a stronger person.
Yes. Also,
So
if you have weaker competition, then it doesn't look that good because you're like, oh, they only won because their blah blah was weaker, blah blah blah. So you want to have competition at the same level as you. That way, it makes you actually look better too.
yeah, like you. What was I gonna say? Oh, so like when he's talking about like these console fanboys arguing over social media and whatever, like he's not just talking about kids and teenagers arguing online. He's talking about middle-aged men, grown 30 and 40-year-olds arguing with each other. And I know that these are 30 and 40-year-olds because they're on YouTube showing their faces.
Stoppa knows who you are.
Yup. Consequences will never be the same. I backtracked you. Like these guys are showing their faces on YouTube, arguing with each other, over who has the better console, trying to talk smack about the other consoles, when that's just it's ridiculous. It's a waste of time. You look like big babies, and just play your games. Get excited about what games you have to play.
Yeah.
That's what Phil Spencer's saying. He's saying that he's not trying to tell you not what to spend your money on. He wants you to be happy that you purchase an Xbox and you're getting all this stuff, for supporting their platform.
I mean, everyone has their own preferences.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I do say negative things about Nintendo a lot, but that's not because I hate them. It's because I feel like they're making a bunch of bad decisions, and I'm pointing it out. Why are you making these bad decisions? Stop it.
In a way, you're helping them because you're
Yes.
pointing out their bad decisions, and you want them to get back to their glory that they once were.
Yeah, it's like if a kid keeps touching the stove while it's on, it's like, stop it. You're hurting yourself.
That's
No.
right.
Bad. No touch. Stop it, Nintendo.
So it's not really you pointing out their flaws. It's mostly showing your disappointment and where their current state is.
Yeah. Yeah. I want Nintendo to be good. I want to play Nintendo games. But I can't like support Nintendo for doing bad decisions.
See, like we came from the era of N64, so we remember like the heyday of Nintendo.
Hey, the heyday of Nintendo is Super Nintendo, bro.
Okay, then.
Super Nintendo is where it's at.
Whatever.
That was definitely the heyday.
Okay.
But anyways, move on?
Yes.
All right. So, Street Fighter V. We have one of the producers from Capcom saying and confirming that there will be no on-disc DLC. So, for those of you who are not sure what we're talking about, what Capcom has done with quite a few of their games last generation, Street Fighter 4, with Resident Evil 5, with quite a few of their games, is that they had content that was on the disc that you had to pay for to unlock because it was advertised as downloadable content, but it was actually disc locked content. Like, it was on the physical disc. You just had to pay for it to unlock that content.
Yeah.
So they're saying, yeah, we're not gonna do that this time. But the thing is, where's the quote? Trying to find it. Okay, so Capcom, so they defended the move by saying, they defended the move of putting disc locked content by saying there is effectively no distinction between on disc DLC and downloaded add ons, apart from delivery method. So their defense for that is that, hey, it's just a different way of us getting you the content. There's really no difference.
Yeah.
They don't understand why people are upset about that.
Yes.
The reason why they're upset is because, well, okay, when people buy DLC, it's you're basically making new content for the game after the game was finished. That's why people are more fine with paying for DLC than getting something that's physically on the disc. You're basically saying, yeah, we made this content with the game, but you got to pay extra to get this content. We want more money out of you.
Yes, which is kind of shady.
Yeah.
And especially like a fighting game like this, usually it's probably a different character, or in more different like costumes or whatever.
Yeah.
And new arenas. So stuff that was already in the game that they could have just added to the game, but they want to kind of lock it away and say, well, you have to pay to get this part of the game unlocked.
Yeah. With Resident Evil 5, it was a completely new mode. Yeah. It was like an online multiplayer deathmatch. Like you had to pay $5 to unlock this online multiplayer mode that was on the disc. So apparently they don't understand why people are upset about it, but at the very least, they are saying, yeah, we're not going to do it this time. They understand that we got upset about it, but they recognize the fact that people are upset about it, but they don't understand why we're upset, which goes back to the whole game design thing. They need a game designer to point this out.
Hire stuff.
Yeah, hire me. I'll fix your company. Make me COO. Move on?
Yes.
All right, let's talk about PC, no longer the top gaming platform for kids, according to this new report. So, apparently, according to, what was it, the NPD, for 2013, most kids from ages 2 to 17 played games on the computer. So like 45% of children ages 2 to 17 played games on home computers. And that's I'd probably say it's because most people have computers, whether it's like a desktop or a laptop, and that's to go online and do stuff. Most parents have a computer. Yeah. So kids will be like, hey, can I play games on the computer? So whether it's playing Minecraft or playing, Candy Crush or going to, Nickelodeon's or Cartoon Network's website and playing those Flash games. Yeah. They're playing games or going to the library. I see kids when I go to the library, they're playing those Flash games on there.
I mean, I remember, like, in my old library, there was, like, games like Pajama Sam or, like, the learning games that were all built into the library computers.
Mm-hmm. So, now, according to, this report for 2015, it looks like 63% of children are now regularly playing games on mobile devices. That's, like, a huge change within those 2 years.
And it's also showing the future of gaming.
Yeah. So and I think this goes back to the whole, what device does their parents have? And a lot of people now just use tablets and their phones for those things I just mentioned, like
Yeah,
going
like
online and
parents can just give their phone to their kid, and the kid can play while they're out like shopping or whatever.
yeah.
It's also the convenience of it too.
Hmm.
Now, mobile gaming and so forth.
I mentioned this on the podcast a couple of weeks ago that when I was presenting Beware the Bully at my capstone presentation, there was a couple of kids who were trying to play the game and they could not figure out how to play it, whether it was with keyboard or with gamepad, and that's because they play Minecraft on tablet.
No use to touch.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, just put your hands on the monitor and I'll play for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's interesting that you know it's shifted that much within 2 years.
Shows how society is advancing.
Yep. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rainbow Six Siege. What was it? I think it was last week. I talked about a little bit, um, uh, and I don't know about something about it getting delayed. I think it was
Yeah.
last week. But now, new thing that's come out, and this is kind of disappointing. It says that Rainbow Six Siege doesn't quite have a campaign, and that's really weird because during E3 they brought what's her name, like Angela Bassett,
Yeah.
the actress. They brought her out saying, oh, she's gonna be like the main like character that will like be giving you your missions and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, awesome! This is gonna they're definitely gonna be putting a lot of emphasis on the story mode then because they got this, this this actual actress
Yeah.
to have her likeness in the game. Um, I'm from what it sounds like now. It just seems like they're gonna be putting some cutscenes with her in it then, because from what they're saying is it's not gonna have a story mode, but instead it's gonna have like these training sessions, uh, in each map, and it can be played with you're going against AI enemies, and you can play this in co-op or by yourself. Which that sounds a little disappointing.
It kind of does.
I mean,
It's
like
not like multiplayer, but with NPCs.
that's like some Section 8 type stuff right there.
Yeah.
Where Section 8 it did the exact same thing, where it was a multiplayer game, and the single player was just the multiplayer maps against AI. And yeah, it's not what I'm looking for, especially if this is gonna be like a $60 full price game.
It also shows that they feel that they don't really need to work on a story then, and that most people are gonna buy it just for the multiplayer.
Yeah. Oh well, I don't know.
If they somehow could make it seem like those maps are kind of like missions in a way where they're not all the missions aren't connected story wise, they're just random like standalone missions. Like if you're actually working for a group, it might work, but the way they phrase it, I don't think it's that way.
Yeah, this article also mentions that it seems to be a growing trend with with these big budget shooters, because like Star Wars Battlefront will not have a single player campaign. The game Evolve, which when did that come out? Did that come out this year?
Yes.
Yeah, Evolve had no campaign. Titanfall from last year had no campaign. In fact, the campaign was basically
The
you're
multiplayer.
Yeah, you're still playing multiplayer. It's just you have some guy in the corner yelling about some random stuff, and you're not really paying attention to them because you're paying attention to the game. So it was pretty stupid. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 will have no campaign. So it just seems to be a growing trend, and that's kind of disappointing because I liked me some single player.
Also, it's Kevin's favorite company, Ubisoft.
Yep, Kevin's favorite company. He owns half of their stock.
Yep.
He's that much of a believer. So let's move on.
Yes.
All right, the last thing I got on here, it's not really an article, but this is a little thing that happened online on Reddit. So basically, somebody, let me get the picture up. Here we go. So somebody on Reddit was trying to do all right, so this person set up a giveaway on the subreddit called PC Master Race.
Yes.
So he was like, okay, I'm going to give away Fallout 4. And a bunch of people were saying, oh, man, you're awesome. Thanks. And they gave him Reddit Gold. Do you know what Reddit Gold is?
Yes.
Can you explain it? Because I don't really know what Reddit Gold is.
I mean, people just give you gold. I don't really see the point in it.
I know it costs money.
Yeah.
That's all I know about it, is that it costs money to give Reddit Gold to other people.
Yeah.
So whatever this is, I mean, like they spent actual money to give this guy Reddit Gold, and then like it's revealed, haha, you guys are not going to get anything. And this guy even like posted saying, who cares? I got gold. It's not like Reddit will ban me from making a fake post. Maybe the PC Master Race mods will, but it's not a great subreddit anyway, LOL. As a response, Corsair decided to like make their own thread on here saying, well, I was really bothered by the news that someone on this sub offered a giveaway for 3 copies of Fallout 4 and apparently lied and walked away laughing. That's a horrible thing to do, and this subreddit deserves better. So we at Corsair are making good on that guy's promise. 3 people who commented earned themselves a copy of Fallout 4. So here are your winners. And then listed off 3 people. Congrats, brothers and or sisters. You won a copy of Fallout 4. I will be delivering you the code upon release. That just seems really awesome. That Corsair, like, you know, it's like, hey, we notice that a bunch of people just got bummed out because this guy was being a douche online. So let's get some positive publicity, you know, and buy 3 copies of this game for 3 random people.
Yes.
I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, it was the PC Master Race run by Kevin.
Hi, PC Master Race is better than consoles. I'm on Kevin's side. I'm a convert.
Oh, so Phil Spencer doesn't like you then.
No.
You're fueling the console war.
Yep.
So, anyways,
sad part is where I work, we have Xbox games.
Oh, are you trying to show off your Flash logo on your chest? Is that what you're doing?
Are you trying to show off your IP line?
No, because you can hardly see it.
No, you're fine. I'm just stretching, actually.
Okay. So, anyways, that's it as far as the news topics go. There wasn't really much going on this week. But yeah.
It's kind of in between. Most things are this between like the summer and this fall, and usually when stuff comes out in fall and stuff comes out in summer, we're like in the very end, like buffer week.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's it. Let's move on to our closing stuff. We had no listener feedback this week. Sad face.
I'm sorry, I didn't say anything in.
But if you want to write a question in or any other comments or whatever feedback, if you have a suggestion on something that you want us to talk about, write in to podcast@outofcontinues.com. What's that?
Stuffa needs the shave.
Yes. Yeah, send it to me. Podcast@outofcontinues.com. I started streaming again because now I have good internet again. You can check that out at twitch.tv/SayedStafa. That's SayedStafa. Also been uploading some gameplay videos on youtube.com/outofcontinues. So check those out. Do you have anything you want to plug other than your Flash shirt that you want to show off, that logo?
No, I don't want to promote Flash.
When does Flash start up again?
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks. Awesome. And
So actually, hold on, I'll check. I think it is like the first week of October.
well, you guys, if you watch the Flash, look forward to us doing our Out of Capes podcast on Flash. Are there any other shows that we're going to be doing Out of Capes for?
I don't know. We haven't really decided.
When does Supergirl start?
I think it's around the same time.
Any other shows that we might be doing? You think about us doing AKA Jessica Jones?
Maybe.
Maybe. We might do that. Have you watched? Have you caught up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No.
It's probably too late for us to do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. anyway, since it's on season 3 now. But yeah, we'll definitely do Flash. At the very least, we'll do Flash. Maybe Legends of DC Legends of Tomorrow.
Tomorrow doesn't start until January.
Oh, not till January. Okay, all right.
October 6th is the first episode of season 2.
What we should do is one on Vixen, just the whole thing.
We should.
Just one podcast for all of Vixen.
And it'll only be 5 minutes long.
Yep. So, anyways, look forward to that. We'll be doing that in a couple weeks. The Out of Capes podcast for the Flash.
Supergirl premieres end of October.
Oh, okay.
October 26th. It's on a Monday.
Okay. So you'll be able to find that. That's on outofcontinues.com/TV podcasts, or if you go to outofcontinues.com, you can find the link on the side. It says TV podcasts. It's a separate RSS feed. So basically, if you want to subscribe to that on iTunes, you gotta find the Out of Capes podcast. Link will be at the on the website. So if you enjoy what you've been hearing, you can support us by liking us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter, leave an iTunes review. You can contact us by email. That's podcast@outofcontinues.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/outofcontinues. All those things I just mentioned are all found on the website. That's www.outofcontinues.com. The website looks great, whether on web browser or mobile devices, because it has its own specific mobile website as well. Looks great. Very easy to use. What's that?
And you use DreamHost.
Yeah, DreamHost. Use the use the promo code @continues. You can give me a tweet. I am at SayedStafa. That's at SayedStafa. Homie.
And I'm at emetzger712, EMETZGER712.
So I'd like to thank my guest host for joining me today, Eric, especially on the short notice, just popping in, saving the day.
That's what I do.
Thanks. And with that said, I'm your host, Stafa. Thanks a lot for joining us. Hey, I already said you're Eric.
Oh, well, deal with it.
And join us again next week as we talk about a mysterious mysterious new topic. Ooh, topic. All right. Thanks.